Hello and welcome to Midday Report here on TVP World. I'm Maureen Cato. U.S. President Donald Trump's extreme tariffs have been dealt a major blow as an American trade court ruled the levies illegal. The decision is expected to have knock-on effects throughout Europe and impact those transatlantic trade talks. We are now joined by our EU correspondent Angela Skujins in Brussels. Good afternoon, Angela. What reaction have we heard from the European Union regarding this major development?
Yes, so radio silence so far. We have put questions to the European Commission spokesperson's service, but they are yet to respond to our requests for comment. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, however, did address trade relations and these tariffs more broadly when she delivered a speech in Aachen, Germany this afternoon, but she did not address that ruling specifically, which came in overnight from the US Court of International Trade, which effectively found that this order by US President Donald Trump on Liberation Day, aka the 2nd of April, to be illegal. According to that ruling, it found that the emergency powers declared did not allow him to unilaterally slap tariffs across every major trading partner. We're talking about 20% tariffs imposed on European goods. And while this ruling is a good news for traders comprising this transatlantic trade relationship of $1 trillion, it is not totally out of the woods yet for particularly those producers of steel and aluminium, car and car parts. They'll still be slapped with 25% tariffs, so those sectoral import duties will remain, and this will be particularly bruising to Poland as it's a major exporter of car parts, of course, which is sent to Germany for the production of some of those major automobiles. We're talking about Volkswagen as well as Mercedes, which they sell on subsequently to the US, so they'll be still slapped with those 25% tariffs. But what happens next? The US president has 10 days to unwind these tariffs, essentially nullify them. But we have heard from the White House that he intends to appeal this in the Supreme Court. So this turbulent transatlantic tariff war is still not over yet. We're expecting some more fiery debate. We also will be waiting for commentary from the European Commission, particularly its Trade Commissioner, Maroš Šefčovič, who has been engaged with back-to-back discussions with his counterparts in the US since this escalation started on the 2nd of April. So we're hoping for some good news there, but that's all from Brussels. I'll send it back to you in Warsaw.
Thank you, Angela, our correspondent in Brussels, providing us with the latest. Thank you. Billionaire Elon Musk has bid farewell to the Trump administration, saying the Department of Government Efficiency will continue working without him. Although his role was temporary, the sudden announcement has raised eyebrows as it comes just a day after Musk criticized Trump's big tax bill, claiming it would undermine his efforts to make the government more efficient.
A White House official has confirmed that Tesla CEO Elon Musk is leaving the Trump administration, ending a whirlwind spell aimed at making massive government savings. Musk thanked US President Donald Trump when he announced his departure from the temporary role heading the Department of Government Efficiency. The billionaire businessman caused controversy as he implemented massive job and budget cuts at the US Agency for International Development and other departments. He also clashed with several senior administration figures, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He labelled Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, a moron. And in a move Reuters news agency sources said irritated some senior White House officials, Musk criticised Trump's key tax bill in an interview with CBS released on Tuesday.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
To achieve his 130-day role was set to expire around May 30th. It's reported his exit was quick and unceremonious, and that he did not have a formal conversation with Trump before announcing his departure.
US President Donald Trump has said he has not yet imposed sanctions on Russia because he doesn't want to impede a possible deal. Trump also added that once Russia presents its ceasefire conditions, the US will learn whether Vladimir Putin is genuinely interested in ending the war in Ukraine.
What stopped you from imposing new sanctions on Russia?
Only the fact that if I think I'm close to getting a deal, I don't want to screw it up by doing that. Let me tell you, I'm a lot tougher than the people you're talking about, but you have to know when to use that. If I think it's going to hurt a deal, this isn't my war. This is Biden's war, Zelensky's war, and Putin's war. This isn't Trump's war. We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently. But it'll take about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We have Mr. Witkoff is here, who's doing a phenomenal job, is dealing with them very strongly right now. They seem to want to do something, but until the document is signed, I can't tell you.
Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov said Ukraine is ready for a complete and unconditional ceasefire and expects Russia to present a memorandum of their vision for a ceasefire. The statement was made in response to the Russian proposal to resume peace negotiations with the country's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, calling for a second round of direct talks with Kyiv in Istanbul.
The proposed meeting, which would see both sides present their conditions for a ceasefire, is reportedly scheduled for June 2nd. After over a week of waiting, Russia said it's ready to present their peace settlement memorandum to the Ukrainian side, outlining what exactly it wants in exchange for a ceasefire as well as peace. The Russian delegation, led by negotiator Vladimir Medinsky, would also provide, quote, necessary clarifications to the peace memorandum. According to Reuters, citing sources familiar with the negotiations, one of these demands is for Western leaders to pledge in writing to stop enlarging NATO eastwards, a so-called grievance Russia has previously pointed towards as one of the reasons for invading Ukraine.
Russia launched yet another attack on Ukraine's Sumy region in the early hours of Thursday. Emergency services were hard at work putting out fires sparked by the attack. 2 villages in the Sumy region were targeted and Russian forces used drones to carry out the strikes, damaging a non-residential building and a farm. The Ukrainian State Emergency Services has not reported any casualties, but the attack sparked devastating fires. Footage released by emergency services showed firefighters battling the blaze. On the other hand, Ukrainian attacks on Moscow damaged a building on the outskirts of the city. This was the second consecutive day of attacks on the Moscow region, with multiple industrial facilities targeted by Kyiv's forces. An explosion on Wednesday in the Russian city of Stavropol killed Zaur Gurtsisiev, the city's deputy mayor who participated in Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. Stavropol region Governor Vladimir Vladimirov confirmed Gurtsisiev's death. Several Russian telegram channels identified Gurtsisiev as one of the victims and shared what they claimed was footage of the explosion. Gurtsiev took part in Russian President Vladimir Putin's Time of Heroes program. According to the program's website, he led Russia's aerial operation to capture the Ukrainian city of Mariupol in 2022. Vladimirov hinted at Ukrainian involvement in the incident but provided no evidence to support the claim. Ukraine has targeted Russian officials who had played crucial roles in Russia's full-scale invasion. The EU has presented a new Black Sea strategy as the region holds great strategic importance for the bloc thanks to its connection to Central Asia. The bloc's top diplomat Kaja Kallas expressed worries over Russia weaponizing the area while launching the initiative.
First, Ukraine and as well as Moldova are, Black Sea countries, and we see Black Sea being weaponized, really. So we see that, grain is the trade route to export grain is via Black Sea, and we also see that this war is really making it much, much harder. So we have different steps here. Of course, first we need to see the war ending, that we can also step up with this approach here. But what is I think important is that we keep the Black Sea in mind, that we help with the security guarantees when it comes to the Black Sea as well. we have the coalition of the willing discussing different security guarantees. We see that we have to also come in with different proposals to support these security guarantees from our side. So in this strategy, we have points that we are putting forward. Military mobility, I already mentioned. Also the ownership of the ports, because it's also important to know who is behind the critical infrastructure. It's also about the undersea cables protection, and there we are closely working with NATO. What more can we do? It's about patrolling the lines. It's about the hybrid threats in the region that are also beneficial for Ukraine's security. It's much interlinked.
A Slovakian court ruled on Thursday that central bank governor and European Central Bank policymaker Petr Kažimír is guilty of corruption. Slovakia is one of 20 countries that use the euro currency, and Kažimír is a member of the ECB's governing council, its main decision-making body.
Slovakia's central bank chief, Petr Kažimír, has been convicted of bribery and fined €200,000. He had been accused of paying a bribe of €48,000 at the turn of the year in 2017-2018 to the head of the country's tax office in connection with a tax audit of several private companies. The case goes back to when Kažimír served as finance minister in the government of populist Prime Minister Robert Fico from 2012 to 2019. After that government took power, a number of people associated with Fico's party faced prosecution in corruption scandals. Kažimír was the first minister of Fico's government to stand trial.
Writing on social media, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that Warsaw will maintain threat levels Bravo and Bravo CRP for the country's given foreign attempts of interfering with Poland's electoral process. The country uses a 4-degree threat and readiness level scale, rising on severity from Alpha to Delta.
In light of the continued hybrid and cyberspace threats we are currently facing from Russia and Belarus, I signed a decision that keeps the threat levels Bravo and Bravo CRP in force. This will help us prevent growing attempts from foreign powers to interfere with our electoral process.
And now let's focus on the upcoming Polish presidential elections. A record-breaking number of Poles have registered to take part in the second round abroad. Poles all around the world will be able to cast their ballots on Sunday, June 1st. Over 695,000 people have completed their voting abroad registration. The news was shared by the Polish Foreign Ministry at a press briefing held on Wednesday. This is an increase compared to just over 500,000 people who registered to cast their ballots in the first round. The number of voters outside Polish borders can still rise on the day of the vote itself. You can cast a vote even if you haven't successfully registered, on the condition you have a valid certificate of your right to vote. In the first round of the elections, some 17,000 people voted this way. You can obtain this certificate before the end of the day on Thursday, May 29th. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has backed Polish nationalist presidential candidate Karol Navroski at CPAC Hungary. Orban's remarks were preceded by a video message from US President Donald Trump.
Former Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki comes from a real battlefield. The presidential runoff in Poland will be held this Sunday. Long live Navroski. If you want to know, friends, what true liberal democracy is like, ask him. In Poland, incredible things are happening. They trample all European rules and constitutional principles. And does Brussels tolerate this? They don't just tolerate it, they openly support it. What a disgrace.
És Brüsszel ezt tűri. Mit tűri? Támogatja.
Dr. Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski, the Polish astronaut set to fly to the International Space Station, has unveiled the spacesuit he'll be wearing for this upcoming mission. The astronaut posted a picture of himself in the suit on his X account on Thursday. The cutting-edge spacesuit reveal has sparked excitement across social media, with enthusiasts abuzz about the suit's futuristic look and Poland's role in global space exploration. On June 8th, Uznajski is set to become the second Pole to go into space since Mirosław Hermaszewski's 1978 mission. Uznański-Wiśniewski is part of the 4-member AX-4 crew that will travel into space, where they are expected to spend 16 days aboard the ISS. Once in orbit, Uznański-Wiśniewski will conduct 13 scientific experiments developed by Polish researchers in collaboration with the European Space Agency. One of the experiment's goal is to help humans living on the Moon and Mars in the future grow their own food. And on that note, we wrap up Midday Report here on TVP World. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.